Hello, CS200 students. This is Sam Vinitsky coming at you with a video about command line arguments. So far we've seen two ways of getting inputs from the user. We've seen scanner and we've seen config files like we used for the big programs. But there's another way to get user input that is more elegant and a lot simpler, and that is to have the user specify when the command is run from the command line what their inputs are. So for example, let's say we have this example file. Just to prove to myself that this works, print line of hi. We're going to go over here and then we're going to compile this. Great, and compiles, and look, it runs. It prints out hi, great. But let's say I didn't want to print out hi, I wanted to print out a word that the user input. So how this works when you're running from the command line is if I were to type a word here, this word would get passed in to the args parameter. So this args that we've been seeing all semester but never doing anything with is a string array that is all of the things that come after the name of our program when we run it from the command line. So Java example, then this is the first thing in args. If I were to say hi, bye, hello, boop, then what args would be is the 0th spot would be this, the first spot would be bye, second spot would be hello, third spot would be boop. So it would be a length 4 array. So it would look like hi, bye, hello, boop. And we can, and I'll put that in a comment. So we can check this. So let's say I want to print out args 0. Let me recompile. So we specify this at the time that we run it, not at the time we compile it. And that's really important because that means we can compile it once and run it a bunch of times with different inputs. So there, see, look, I did it. If I wanted to print out all of them, I could use a for loop. For int I equals 0, I is less than args.length, I++, just your regular for loop iterating through an array, and then print out I. Woohoo, it didn't work because I didn't compile. I'm going to do that many times over the course of this video. See, look, we did it. So args is just an array, and again, it does not take the name of the file or Java. It starts at the first thing after the name of the .class file and takes in the rest separated by spaces. So let's do another example. Let's write some code that will, our goal will be to add the first two inputs, and assuming that they're doubles. So for example, if we see 2.0 and 3.0, we should output 5.0. If we see -1 and 1.4, it should output 0.4. If we see -10, oh, not a comment, and -100, it should output -110. So, oh, sorry, that's a little spoiler for what we're going to do in a minute. So this should be pretty straightforward, right? We just do system.out.println of args0 plus args1. So let's compile, no errors. So let's give it a couple of inputs. So let's say 10 and 10. Uh-oh, that's not what we would expect. 10 plus 10 is not 10, 10. So the issue here is that this is a string array, which means that args0 is a string. So we're doing a string addition of the string 10. So 10 plus 10 is really what it's doing, which is concatenation and will give us the string 1010. That's not what we want. So we gotta convert these to doubles. So we gotta do parse double and double.parse double. Hooray. Let's try it now. Compile, run. It works, great. Let's try another couple examples. So 2.0 and 3.0 is 5.0 like we wanted. -1 and -1.4 were the two I did. Okay, yeah, that's close enough because doubles are weird. If you're confused about this, go back and look at lab. There was a lab we had that talked about floating point comparisons and epsilons, but like it's close enough. And then, great, negative 110. Great, that's exactly what we wanted. Cool, so that's pretty straightforward. So let's say, actually, let me show you how to do this in Eclipse first. So here is the same file. I've just opened it up in Eclipse, or actually it's a different file. So let me grab this and paste it. So in Eclipse, there's no command line. So the way we have to do this is we have to go up to Run Configurations. Oh, yes, and then Java, wait, sorry. Run as, right, so then, oh no, exception in main, thread out of bounds. So let's go to Run Configurations and actually do this. So we have to go over here to Arguments. Then in Program Arguments, we'll type in our arguments, and then we run it, and then it gets 20. So this is actually pretty cumbersome and annoying, which is why we haven't had you do this yet, because it really only works well if we're doing things from the command line, because otherwise you have to go in here every time and change them. But then you can do it multiple times, like I keep hitting play and it does those same inputs. Whereas from the command line, it's a lot easier to vary the inputs. So that's pretty much everything. I'm going to give you another example program to try on your own. So let's say we want to take the average of all the inputs. Actually, before we do this, I want to talk about two other things. There are two issues that could come up when doing this. One is you might not get the right types. We saw that earlier. The other is maybe we didn't give you enough inputs. So let's say I try to run this old program, but I don't give you a second input. Then it's going to give you an array index out of bounds exception, which means we tried to index the array at 1, but there was only, it was a length 1 array, and we tried to index it at the second spot. So that's bad. We, as programmers, need to check and make sure that the length is right. So I would need to do like we could either do a try-catch block or like an if args.length is less than 2, then like print like error expected 2 inputs, something like that, and then you can return. I haven't actually tried this yet. I don't know if it'll work. Let's try it. Hey, look, it worked. Great. I'm the good programmer. Let's try it again with the actual. Cool. Yeah, there. And then, but if we do too many, that's fine. Our program doesn't really care, because it'll just ignore the extra ones. So now let's go back to that example. So I want you to write a program to take the average of all of the inputs, and you can assume they're doubles. You don't need to worry about converting them or dealing with type errors. Normally when you write this you would, but for the sake of this example, to keep things simple, I won't make you do that. So pause the video and see if you can write this. If you're having trouble, look back at our previous example of how to print all of the things and also how to add things. So I'm going to count to 3, and then when I get to 3, I'm going to show you the solution. So hopefully by now you've done it. 1, 2, 3. Great, welcome back. Hopefully that wasn't too hard. I'll show you how I would do this. So let's look at a couple examples first. So if it's 10, 10, 10, we should output 10. If it's 0, 10, 20, we should output 20 because we're taking the average. If it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7, that is 6 things that add up to 12, so the average should be 2. Well, I said they were doubles, right? So let's make a sum variable. Actually, I'll call it total. So that's our total sum so far, and then we're going to loop through, so running total, and then we're going to add all of the inputs. So we have to loop through the array, which we saw how to do earlier. Sorry, too many array lists. args.length, I++, and then we're going to do total plus equal args I, except for we have to parse it as a double. Great. And then system.out.println of total. Cool. Okay, compiles fine. Let's check some of our test cases. So 10, 10, 10, output 30. Oh, because I forgot to divide. Yep. Okay, so total, how about double average equals total divided by the total length of the array, which is args.length. Change this to average. This is why you always test your code when you're done. Great. So 10, 10, 10 gave us 10. 0, 10, 20 should give us 10. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7 should give us 2. To try another couple. How about like 7, 8, 9? Great. Let's just try some random numbers and see what it does. And some negatives in there too. Cool. I believe it. Great. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make sure that I can get to YouTube platinum status and I can make $1 million on YouTube. Great. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.